All right, we are going to start now. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Daly.
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
All right, so let us start now then. All right.
Host started recording.
All right. Peace, blessings, enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love to each and everyone that is here, and also everyone that is watching live on YouTube, and also will be watching in the future. Please buckle up, because this is going to be another fantabulous meeting. And we thank you very much for joining us this wonderful Tuesday evening. Actually, it is the last Tuesday evening that is in this month. So we are wrapping up the September to remember. And so we just want to thank you all for participating in this webinar on the best 4K audio video webinar platform and the only 4K audio video webinar platform on the planet. So we just want to thank you for joining us on OConnect. And if you don't have OConnect, maybe watching it on YouTube or thereabout, and you don't have OConnect, just hook up with one of our wonderful able users that presently have it, and they'll be able to share it with you. And so at this time, without any further ado, we are going to listen to our lovely favorite international singing artist, Lerato Shadari, who is well known all over the globe, not only here in Deep Dive, our Dream Team, but also internationally as a singing artist. And as you look or as you watch this song, as it is played, please to read the words, because there are some words that will be playing in the video, not just the song, but also some words. So read those words as it relates to our recent partnership with Tajdir. So please, as we look at this song by Lerato Shadari, In It to Win It.
We are
The future of internet.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Wonderful. Yes, we are standing clear of the closing door because we are now at the door du couple top. We are now at the door du couple top. That is 12. Number 12. Top number 12. So most of us talk about cloud 9. You know, when somebody's on cloud 9. Well, we have surpassed that long time. All right? So we are now at cloud 12. All right? So we are above the birds, we are above the eagles, we are above the plane, we're now going towards the space rocket. That's where we're going. All right? You know, everyone knows that cloud 9 is right here where the birds them fly, right? The big eagles them and so on. You know, so when you're on cloud 9, you know, you have arrived. You have arrived. But we in unpassive, right? We have surpassed that by you know few, right? Because we are now, you know, above, which is in the cloud 12. Well, no, no cloud not up there. So we pass cloud and gone a little further. All right. So anyway, we take mindset very important, very important. So, and this is one of the very few, apart from Ashmafari and Dream Team, right? Deep Dive is the other only platform that I know that really takes specific interest in the mindset. Darren, could you mute the mic? Darren, I have seen. All right, wonderful. So, as we are saying, that we take specific interest in the mindset because that is very important, most important in the development process, especially when it comes on to life. The mindset is very important. And even when it comes on to dealing with our business, the mindset is even more important. And so we do have a wonderful, extravagant, lovely, beautiful, lovely lady that is going to actually come and speak to our mindset because it is very important, as we said. Because the mindset is affected by two things. The mind, of course, which is affected by two things, and it's the physical and, of course, the mental. The physical, in this case, that we are speaking of, when we are talking about this business of that deals with unpassive, the physical here is the money. And of course, the mental is the mindset. What you think, your thoughts. Because a lot of people get money. And the only thing most people know to do with money is just spend it. And live extravaganza. But no, that's not what we want on passive. We want people to have the correct mindset in order to lift up humanity. And so we have speaking to us on the topic today, which is, what are your superpowers? Have mercy. I think it's only Superman and Batman have superpowers. No, we can have superpowers also. Becoming the hero you are intended to be. And of course, Queen Dr. Tunishai Ford is going to speak to us on the mindset. She's an international transformational speaker, a life coach, empowerment trainer, TV talk show host, published and author of 4 books, and of course, editor-in-chief of Discovering You magazine. Dr. Tunishai, of course, as it is stated, she is a doctor of our big degrees and so on, etc., etc. And of course, she's also the founder and CEO of Your Own Uniqueness, Inc. It is a non-for-profit organization with a 501c3 that deals with self-improvement right away. So it's not just since and passive, she's dealing with self-improvement and having the right image and overcoming barriers that hinder people from reaching their full potential and walking in their destiny. Walking in your destiny. And so at this time, we are going to call on our own wonderful Dr. Tunishai Ford to give us the mindset today as it relates to what is your superpower. What is our superpower? Woo! With the King of mercy, becoming the hero you are intended to be.
Wow, take it away, Dr. Derek. I thought you were going to give the speech. You were doing so well. Wow. How is everybody doing this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world? Bless all of you. I am so excited. When Dr. Derek gives an introduction, you feel so huge. And I am so appreciative that he took the time to just introduce me like that. So God bless you, Dr. Derek. And I want to just take this time to thank all of you brand ambassadors for just being the wonderful, awesome people that you are. And I'm hoping that this message would take you even higher. Okay, even higher than you may think you are right now. Even though you may be getting your monies and everything coming into your wallets, and you see the progress of on passive, and you're using this fabulous webinar platform, there's so much more in store for you. And when I came up with this topic, what are your superpowers? You know, I realized that most people don't see themselves as being superheroes. You may say, well, you know, I'm not Batman, you know, I'm not Superman. People that God has used the greatest. Just take a moment to think about that. People who were ordinary, who seemed to be ordinary just like you and me. But what did God do? He made them extraordinary. And they accomplished feats that we can only fathom. And I want to be able to just share with you right now that you are in that category. With you to take the time to share with the group what you believe after I share what your superpowers are. Because for so long, we often look in the mirror and we find fault with ourselves. It's so easy for us to put ourselves down and focus on what we don't have, what we cannot do. We compare ourselves to other people. And that's not God's will. Well, you already know that. That's not God's will for us to compare ourselves and to put ourselves down. It is God's will that we begin to lift ourselves up and to be able to see the magnificent person that we are in this world. You're not supposed to be worried about how other people see you, but only how God sees you. Even people who may have disabilities like being ADHD, having dyslexia, being autistic, those people, even with learning disabilities, come into the world with extraordinary abilities. And I want to let you see today that you are exceptional. You have superpowers, and you are a superhero to somebody. Like Mr. Ashman Farrow, he is a superhero globally. Maybe that's not your assignment. Your assignment might be to be a superhero to just a handful of people. That's okay. That's your assignment. You might be a superhero to just one person, your family, but that's okay. But whatever it is significant, it's powerful, it's exceptional, and it's going to make a difference in this world. So I want to be able to share with you right now 5 tips to understand your superpowers, how to recognize your superpowers and to become the hero that you are intended to be. But let me give you this story before we go any further, before I actually go into the steps. I want to just tell you a little bit about me. A lot of you may know that I am a former teacher, a former educator, and I have never been a 9-to-5 person. I've worked 9-to-5 jobs to make a living, but I never liked being a 9-to-5 person. I knew that as a little girl growing up that I didn't want to be conformed to a 9-to-5 setting. And I believe that and understanding that at a very, very young age, I was on a journey to becoming something different than that. So I left my 9-to-5 job, making a good salary, to do what I believe that my superpowers were going to take me. And I know that I am a transformational speaker. Why? Because my whole thrust is to help people realize their purpose. And every time I speak, I know that you will agree with me that I'm always talking about purpose. I'm always talking about transforming the mind, being not conformed to the world, the way the world thinks, but being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And guess who else thinks like that? God. Guess who else believes the same thing? God. And I've just taken up that mantle, and I'm going to carry it, and I want to give it all to you. And I want to share this with you also. I don't know if you all are into movies. I love movies. And one of my favorite movie stars is Sylvester Stallone. How many of you knew, or should I say, how many of you know that Sylvester Stallone is autistic? He's autistic. But yet he made one of the greatest movie franchises, Rocky. He wrote that. And many people thought that it was not going to go anywhere. They knew he was a little slow. You know how he talks real slow and laid back and everything? He's a writer. He has imagination. He's creative and an excellent writer. And what he has also, he has perseverance. Even people rejected him. He knew that this is something that he was called to do. And now it's one of the greatest movies that I've ever seen. If you've seen Rocky, especially the first one, it's phenomenal. And it was written by someone that you and I may consider to have a handicap. He's autistic. He's not grossly autistic, but he's autistic, and he took his autism and turned it into a strength. And I want to be able to share with you now. Now I'm going to get ready to go into the 5 steps that it's going to take for you to realize what your superpowers are, and then understand that you are heroes, even now, today. The first step is to identify your superpowers. First things first. First, you have to realize before you can be a superhero, you have to understand that you have superpowers. And then you have to be able to identify them. Let's look at Superman. We know that he was born on a planet where he had all these superpowers, but he didn't really know his parents from the other planet. He came here to Earth, and natural parents, earthlings, as you would call them, raised him. You all know the story. But as he was growing up, he was discovering that he was different than most children. His parents noticed it, that he was different than most people. Have you ever thought about yourself? Have you ever said, wow, I don't think like everybody else. I don't want the same things everybody else wants. I feel differently on the inside. It's like somebody's tugging at your heart. Somebody's tugging at you saying there's something different about you. That's how I used to feel as a little girl growing up. I knew I was different, but in a good way. I knew that I was a super kid. They used to call kids like that super kids who are big dreamers, even at a young age. When I was 14 years old, you may not believe me, at 14 years old, I was counseling adults. That's true. At 14, I was counseling adults. So I knew there was something exceptional and something different about me. Now, I'm not being braggadocious. I say that with humility. I'm just trying to show you something. But let's go back to Superman. Superman realized that there was something very different about him, but he had to be able to identify his powers. So what did he do? He reflected on his unique skills, and he reflected on his experiences, and he reflected on the qualities that he had. He began to say, wow, I have this power, I can leap. When he felt he was going to fall, he found that he could fly. He found that when something was going to happen tragically, he knew he could lift things. He was strong. So he had x-ray vision. When he was trying to figure something out, he realized that he could see through things. He said, wow, amazing. But at first he didn't know he had those powers. But he had to realize that. So then he identified them. Then he had to be motivated into action. When you are identifying your superpowers, you have to be motivated to take action on those powers. That's how you identify them. And then other people, God will use other people to help you to identify your superpowers. I was talking to a friend of mine just a few days ago, and I asked her, I said, what do you think my superpowers are? And she began to rattle off different things that I didn't even know about myself. I mean, it was like almost like 12, 13, 14, 15 items that she listed. Now, I knew a few of them, but it's amazing how other people, when they look at you, not only do they see faults, but they can also see the attributes. So when you're identifying your superpowers, understand that there are other people that are around you that can help you identify qualities that you may not even be aware of. So that's number one, identify your superpowers. Number two, begin to nurture them. Once you identify your superpowers, it's time to go overboard to advance the skills to stabilize them. When Superman began to realize and be able to identify his superpowers, he began to advance them. He began to do things with lifting things, looking through things, leaping off of tall buildings, making sure that he was able to handle them. Because when you identify your powers, you want to make sure that you keep them in perspective. You don't want to be in the wrong setting to utilize your powers, because if you use your powers in the wrong setting, that could come against you. Like, for example, you might be a person that's very verbal. That's a superpower. And it's good to be verbal in the right setting. But if you don't understand how to control that superpower, you can be very offensive. You can be misconstrued as a person who's bossy, or a person that's controlling, and you don't want that. Okay, so you want to make sure that when you display your superpowers, you want to be able to nurture them and make sure that they are used in the right environment. And then another thing you want to do is you want to be able to educate yourself. Once you identify what those superpowers are, you begin to nurture them. Sometimes you may have to go back to school so that you can get more education. Like, for example, me being a life coach, I took classes to learn the proper way to be a life coach. You can't just be all over the place. Life coaching is not telling people what to do. Life coaching is letting them know what to do. You give them insight, but they have to work through the problem. They have to work it out. But if I did not know that, I'd be telling them what to do and telling them to go left, go right, and everything. And then if I give them wrong advice, they'll be holding me accountable. But no, life coach is when they hold themselves accountable. But I had to learn that. So number two is begin to nurture them, begin to expand them, begin to just be able to just baby those skills and understand that in the right environment, they will flourish. And then number three, this is so important. Number three, begin to, once you identify them, once you begin to nurture them, then it's time to display them. Then it's time to show off. Isn't that what Superman did? He would find a field, and he would go out there, and he would be out there showing up in front of his friends, or he may run real fast and go somewhere and then run back real fast, or he may go to a real tall building and leap off and not fall and be flying through the air. You know what I'm saying? Doing his thing, or he might lift something just for the show of it. When you identify and nurture your superpowers, your abilities, it's time to display them. Look for opportunities to showcase your superpowers. Look for opportunities. And if you cannot find opportunities, create your own opportunities. Create your own opportunities. I know for a while with myself, if I may just use that as an example, and being a speaker, it's not easy always getting speaking engagement, no matter how good you may think you are. People have to be willing to hire you to become a speaker. And at one time in my life, there was a drought, a slow time in my life when I wasn't getting the speaking engagement like I wanted to. But
No, هذا
I
القلب
wanted
الثاني
to,
اسمه مشان نشط الدورة الدموية ويصير
Dr. Derek, I
18
don't know if you're
يصير
speaking, but it's kind of
ماما
hard to
بتصير
continue.
بالسين هذا بقولوا لك هون اضرب هون القلب الثاني هلا برجيك اياه بيعطي لي اياه يا الله شو عملنا.
Okay, I apologize. Please forgive me. I don't know who that was, but it's kind of hard to speak over somebody else speaking. But what I was saying is that I created my own opportunities. So I would have regular scheduled speaking engagement every month or quarterly. I would have conferences and I would invite people to come to my events so that I would be able to speak. So I created my own opportunities. When you've identified what your superpower is, you might be a person that has perseverance. You might be a person that's creative. You might have good administrative skills. Maybe you're the kind of person that draws money to you. You're very good at handling money. You might be the kind of person, you might what we call a hustler. You go out there and you make things happen. You might be a person that's good with writing, journalism. You might be a person that has a gift of gab. So therefore you want to create opportunities where you can utilize those superpowers, those skills that you have. That's so important. So again, you're going to learn, you're going to identify them. You're going to begin to nurture them, and you're going to display them. This is your way. This is your way to getting to that point where you discover that you are someone else's superhero. And the next one, number 4, unearth your purpose for your superpower. Once you've identified your powers, once you begin to nurture them, once you begin to display them, then you're going to figure out, how do my superpowers play into what God has intended for me to do? Let me share this with you. Many people have jobs. Now, I have nothing against jobs because I've had jobs, but I told you at the beginning of my topic that I am not a 9-to-5 person. And I left my 9-to-5 job because I wanted to pursue what I believe God has called me to do. When you have a job, it interferes, I think it hinders you from really exploring who you really are, because what you're trained to do that job. But when you have what I call work, at that point you are operating in the assignment. That's a key word. You're operating in the assignment that God has ordained for you to operate in, using the skills, the abilities, the talents, and the experiences that you've gone through, so that you can go ahead and operate in that in which you have been ordained to do. So a job is something that you do to bring in income. It makes ends meet. But work is an assignment from God that helps you utilize the skills and abilities. So you want to be able to unearth your superpowers and be able to connect them with that which God has called you to do. And then ask yourself, how do these superpowers help me as an on-passive? That's that little word I get sometimes. As a person in on-passive, let's go and put it like that. A person who's a part of on-passive. How do you take your superpowers and help in that? Many people right now have started webinars. They have their own YouTube channels. They're doing speeches. Our own singer, who's a global singer, the person who's doing that, they have created a platform where they can be an asset to Mr. Ashman Farr's vision and dream. So while you are nurturing, while you are identifying, while you are displaying, you want to connect your purpose with that of God's purpose, and also see how your purpose and your vision and your superpowers will also enhance on passive. And the last one, last but not least, is that you will help others discover their superpowers. Once you have gotten to the place where you have identified your superpowers, and you begin to nurture those superpowers, and you begin to display those superpowers, and you begin to unearth those superpowers for your purpose, then it's time to help someone else to identify their superpowers. You're not a lone ranger. As you can see, God did not put you on the earth by yourself. Your job is to bring out the best in others. This is what we do. When we have our Step Up program, when I do my conferences and workshops, my job as an individual, what I believe I've been called to do is to bring out the best. One of the things that Dr. Derek said when he introduced me is that what I want to do is to help people reach their full potential and overcome barriers that will hinder them from being their best self. I want to see people go to their highest height. And the only way that I can do that is to help them realize what's in them. It's not about what's in me. It's about what's in them. So my superpower is to draw people out and help them realize their superpowers. That's your vision too. That's your job. If you decide to be the superhero, if you decide to be able to just look at yourself and reflect on who you are as a person, if you begin to realize that you have qualities that make you stand out above the rest, then you must understand at the end of the day, at the end of this journey, you have to help somebody else across that threshold. You have to pass on that baton and help others realize who they are and who they can become by displaying their own superpowers. So when you do that, and to recap, what are your superpowers? Begin to think about who you are. Begin to think about the experiences that you've gone through that make you who you are today. Begin to think about the qualities, the unique qualities that you have, the mission that you believe that God has called you to, how it can be better or passive, how you can go out there and help others live their dream. And then I believe that you will become the person that God has intended for you to be. So let me recap. Recapping, number one, identify your superpowers. Number two, begin to nurture your superpowers. Number three, display them. Be proud of them. Begin to display them. Number four, unearth your superpowers for your purpose. And number five, help others to discover their superpowers. And remember, it's okay. You are a superhero, and it's okay to believe that. Thank you so much for allowing me to share. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
For allowing me to share.
Wonderful. You nailed it. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Queen Dr. T. Thank you very much for that mindset. That was awesome. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And of course, right away we have hands up to make comments and to maybe ask questions or to, give their little bit on that mindset. So I will be starting with First Lady Queen, Dr. Benny. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Dr. Derek, for giving me this opportunity. I am so sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm here. Dr. T.
Yes, Dr. Benny.
I just want to thank you so much for this amazing information that you are sharing to all of us regarding our superpower. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I even got a clap from Mr. Carlton Clark. I've never seen him.
Agenda.
Dr. Derek.
Oh, right? Yeah, go ahead.
This is Lily. I'm sorry, but when I have all these icons, we can't raise a hand.
Right, as co-host, speak.
Right. So you say just speak. So
yes,
anyway, I would just like to say to Dr. T that, like Dr. Bennett said, you nailed it. You nailed it. It was so good. But I would like to comment on number 3, where you talked about creating your own opportunities. And I would like to just share one of the things that I had to do in order to create my opportunity. be out to school, so we had to do the domino effect after. And when I came back home from college, the only difference was I had a formal education beyond high school that I didn't have when I left. So what I did was I called my high school principal and I said to him that I'm back home. I finished 2 years of Secretary of Science, and I don't want to forget my shorthand and typing skills. And I'm wondering, can I volunteer for you at the school as your secretary? Now, mind you, I'm 13 miles from the school, no vehicle because I didn't have a job. So he said, oh, absolutely, absolutely. So we ended the conversation like that. Then I began to think, now, how am I going to get there? No car, no money to buy a car with. So there was a school bus that would pass right by my parents' house where I was. And I called the school bus driver and I asked him if the bus was full. And he said, no, you got somebody you want me to pick up? I said, let me get back with you. I called the principal back and said to him, is it possible for you to contact the superintendent and find out if I can ride the school bus and serve as an aide on the bus? And then when the bus gets to school, I can get off and volunteer in your office as your personal secretary. He called the superintendent. Superintendent said yes. So he called me back. He said, I just talked to the superintendent. And the superintendent told me, yes, that's fine. So I rode the bus 1 full month, volunteered a month. At the end of the month, he called me in his office and he said, I just left the superintendent's office. And he told me to put you on the payroll and pay you retroactive for the month that you volunteered. That was my first job that I had. So when you were talking about creating an opportunity, that along with many other things that I could talk about, but I'm not your speaker. But I really appreciate these things. And one other thing I do want to say, when you talked about helping others identify theirs, when I was doing these things, I had no idea what I was doing, Dr. T. But now with you laying it out, I can see how things were being done, but did not know that I was doing it in the order of what this is. I had a young lady that retired from the school, from the government. She retired like today, and about maybe 3 weeks later, the government came out with an opportunity that anybody near retirement would retire, but she had already retired. So what did I do? I brought her out of retirement, put her back on the payroll, and then let her work for a couple months, and then she retired with all of the awesome additional benefits. And I could just go on and on. But I really appreciate this. I appreciate your presentation that you have given tonight. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Derrick, for allowing me to do this. Thank you.
Now, I have a question. I have a question for you. I have a question for you, Lily. What was your superpower? Put a name, put a word to it. What was
I would say helping others. I would say helping others.
But it's something else that you did. You initiated something. What did you do when you called the superintendent to ask if you could ride the bus? What were you taking? You were taking initiative.
Oh yes.
You were taking initiative. A lot of people don't know how to do that. They're shy. That's a big step. You know what I mean? You took initiative, and that's a skill. That's a superpower. That's a superpower. Okay, and all through your life, look at your life. You probably take initiative for a lot of things that you've accomplished.
Oh yes.
That's why you accomplished them, because you took initiative. Everybody doesn't take initiative.
Yeah, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Make a lot of sense. Make a lot of sense.
That's why I said you have to be able to identify them. That's why I said to you when I first started, I said, I hope that you all were some of you will identify. I didn't want to give you a lot of adjectives, you know, about or verbs. I wanted you to be able to tell yourself, these are my superpowers. You know, I'm the kind of person, you know, and I'm not trying to be braggadocious. This is just who I am. I'm the kind of person that I can walk into a room, and it's like something about my aura, and I know it's God given, and it's like I can light the room up. You know, and Tony would tell you, I go to my church or different meetings, and I walk in with a smile, like I command the place. Yeah, but it's a pleasantness. I'm not going in like I'm bossy. I come in with a pleasantness, and people, I just relax people. You know, I bring out the best in people. You know, I know how to do that. You know, and it's just something that I know that God has given me. You know, I just make you feel relaxed, and I just bring light into the room. You know, kids that were new also, I would go and welcome them. I'm new too, and I'm welcoming them. You know, making them feel relaxed. So that's the superpower. And so those are things you need to be able to identify. And when you identify them, then you can capitalize on those. You can nurture those goals, those gifts, and then you can display them, and then you can go out there and be effective in the world. And that's what it's all about. We take too much time dwelling on the negative things about us instead of seeing the things like being a person that's initiate things. That's a unique superpower. And if you think about it on your life, many of the things you've accomplished because you took initiative. It's a superpower.
Big superpower.
Big superpower. Huge superpower. Yeah. I even got a smile from Carter. Go ahead, Carter. I even got a smile. There you go. I love it. I love it.
Big superpower. Big superpower. Huge.
Yes.
Humongous superpower. Listen, you see, initiative. You see, and that is a quality of a leader. That's it, you know. A leader. A leader see a need and fulfill the need without needing compensation. Because, you know, a lot of us, you know, the only way we do something is if we're going to be compensated handsomely for it. And that's not how we to live in this world. How we to live in this world is God blesses us to bless others. That's it, you know. That's it. God blesses us. Or well, God bless me to bless others. Right? And that's just it. I have put so many little small poor church, so to speak, you know, that have like 10 members, 12 members, 22 members coming to church on a regular basis. And I, you know, visit the church and sit down and, you know, and then I speak with the pastor and so on, and, you know, let him know that, listen, I'm fully into technology. Let me put you on YouTube. He said, you can put me on YouTube? I said, yes, I can get your stream live on YouTube, your services and so on. Well, we don't have any money to do that, you know, because, you know, we have to get camera, we have to, well, I said, yes, you have to definitely have a few items. And the last quotation that he got is like 22,000 and 32,000 and some lovely figures. I'm not talking about Jamaican dollars, I'm talking about US dollars, right? 22 and 32,000. The last quote he got from Best Buy was $34,321 just for him to stream live. I said, no, it don't really take that much, but yes, you need camera and you need a few items, yes, but you don't need no 20-something thousand or 30-something thousand. All right? And he said, really? I said, yes. And when we me and the treasurer sit down, and I said, most of my things I get from B&H, that's in Manhattan. And we sit down and we look at the few items that we need. the few items came up to about three or 4,000. Never reached 5,000. And I, throw up the wires them and run the wires them and run the cables them and hook up the two TVs and hook up a camera and hook up a computer and what have you, and church streaming live on YouTube. Just did that just last week, and church streaming live on YouTube, and I send out a few to people that I know, right? And right away they are at about 300 or 400 subscribers and so on and so forth. So you are at 400 subscribers and about 120 something the last church that I did about 2 weeks ago. They are at a viewership of about 100 and something now. Last worship session, and it so happens that you have a congregation of, as I said, 20 something, 30 coming to church, and now you have a viewership of over 100. So within 2-3 weeks, that's a different level, really and truly, right? And so he said, I noticed that the pastor called me just last week and said, I noticed that you didn't put any money on it for the job that you did. I said, Pastor, it's okay, man. God bless me with this, and so I use it to bless others. No. And he goes as far as to say, if it was, and he showed me a piece of paper, right? He showed me a piece of paper and said, if your color was like this, it would be a big charge that you'd a big bill that you'd send me. I said, well, no, fortunately, that's all right, man. I mean, if you want to bless me with something, fine, thumbs up. But that would be okay, but I'm not going to charge you. All right? So he hasn't blessed me as yet, just to let you know. Praise God. But that's okay, because you see, I didn't do it to get compensated. That's the next thing. You understand? So you have to be cognizant of the fact that when you do something, do it out of the goodness of your heart. And from once you do that, you're good to go. Whether a person bless you with something, yes or no, it doesn't matter. Working at the job to be compensated. But no, do your job to be compensated. Do your job to the honor and glory of God. And when you do it that way, you will be more contented with what you're doing on your job and will not be miserable as most people are on their job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Derek.
Right. Okay, so we have two persons. We have Bridget Campsey. Engineer Bridget, go ahead.
Morning, wherever you all are. Thank you, Dr. Derek, for the opportunity. I just wanted to make a comment about what Dr. T said about herself. I was just going to say that there's no doubt or no wonder you're who you are today. Those traits, they manifest themselves at very early ages in life. So, and leaders are born that young, as little young kids, you can always tell who a leader is always going to be. So, hey, that's why you're who you are. And we love you for that. Keep it up.
Okay.
So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Bridget.
You're welcome.
All right, wonderful.
So, Dr. Dick, may I please request co-host privileges for tonight?
Oh, okay. And thank you very much, Queen Bridget. Really appreciate your comment. And go ahead, Mama Do.
Yes, Dr. Derek. Good evening to you all. You know, I just want to thank Dr. T for her outstanding presentation tonight. You know, she nailed it because the topic she raised tonight, every human being on in this world has those traits. But the problem, some of us cannot identify them. You know, if we can identify our supernatural power from childhood days, you'll be able to, you can see them because everybody manifests them at that age, but we cannot identify them. Some people do. And when they do, they nurture them. But for true, everybody has supernatural powers. And we just need to keep reminding ourselves, not for us again, but for the kids that we are bringing in this world. Let's watch them from childhood days. They will manifest their supernatural powers at an early age. And then we'll be able to nurture them so they will realize it. Thank you very much, Doctor.
I give glory to God. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, wonderful. All right, thank you very much, Queen Dr. T. Really appreciate that mindset. That was awesome, and all the persons who gave their comments. Really appreciate it. All right, so the next item on the agenda, of course, security. Cyber security, because we have a lot of cyber crime. Listen, gone are the days when policemen just walk with baton. Praise the Lord. Listen, without a policeman walking with any baton, you have to have some big Remington gun, or you have to have a good, decent computer to fight crime. All right, that's how we fight crime now. Gun and computer. All right, because just like how we have physical crime, we have what is known as cyber crime. And every person in on passive going to have to deal with cyber crime. You understand? And well, we don't have to deal with it physically, you know, and passive will deal with it for us. So we have to ensure that from once we are online, there is a possibility of cyber crime. And if there is a possibility of cyber crime, you have to be involved in something or in a company that will ensure that you are secure. Hey, rhyme every time. Hey, anyway, wonderful. And so therefore, we have our first lady joining us this today to let us be comfortable knowing that on passive is very high, very big, very humongous on cybersecurity. And so, yes, this is part 3 of tips to stay protected. And we know that, yes, on passive, when it comes down to security, is second to none, better than Fort Knox. And we don't really gone into everything as yet, because one of the other item on the program is going to be one of the next solutions that we're going to have is going to be virtual, which you will be able to put on physically, put that product on every device that you have, which is, you know, most of us know it as a VPN. So let us hear from our first lady, Queen Dr. Benny. And yes, that's where her PhD is in. Her PhD is actually in cybersecurity, big time. She has many degrees and so on, but yes, she has a big, fat, college tuition to pay off. And of course, this is going to help her clear it off in no time. And so therefore, we're going to call on our First Lady, Queen Dr. Benny, to give us our tips to stay protected, part 3. Go ahead, Queen Dr. Benny.
Thank you. It's loading. It's loading. Thank you.
All right. So while it's...
All right. Thank you so much, our King, Dr. Derek, for giving me this opportunity. I believe everyone knows the importance, the reason why I am presenting this. It's loading up, it's coming. The reason why I believe Dr. Derek wants me to do this is because the time has arrived. We all know that a lot of brand ambassadors, or should I say affiliates, they did not know that we were going to launch. And I noticed that 90% of all our brand ambassadors, they are utilizing their cell phones. It doesn't matter whether you're using your cell phone or a computer. It is time. The time has arrived that we have to protect our information. And the hackers are out there waiting. You guys know that a lot of people did not even know the importance of OnPassive. OnPassive was launched in March of March the 30th of 2022. And again, guess what? We launched September 1st. A lot of our brand ambassadors, they are struggling. They want to pay so bad. But by so doing, we have to protect our information. Right. Just give me a minute. To tell you the truth, Dr. Derek, is so slow. And is it okay for me to send this to you, please? Because it's so, I can't see. You guys can see it very well, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
But I cannot see well. Okay. All right. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
No.
You can see me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason is because I cannot see this very well. So I'm just going to read it here, if it is okay. Okay. While I'll do it here, you guys see it there. I am going to show it here. Now, so the most important thing we're talking about, information. Information is just like data, right? Data. So what is information? Information is defined as the collection of data presented with the purpose and the meaning. Information is the one and the most important asset for conducting business successfully. But actually, I am presenting OnPassive, part 3 of the cybersecurity. How does the data, or information applies to your company, to our company, OnPassive? Now, when I talk about information, right? Information is very important to you and I. So information is defined as a collection of data presented with the purpose and the meaning. Information is one of the most important assets of conducting business successfully. For example, an assignment can be given to you by your boss, right? Or an instructor. When an instructor gives you an assignment, what do? You go out there and do a research. You do your research to get the answer, right? So it is a news or knowledge received or given. It has different names, including what? The intelligence, the message, the data, signal, or fact, details. Now, the next thing we talk about, protection of your personal data. So we have to protect our personal data, right? We have to protect our personal data. By protecting our personal data, OnPassive has installed firewalls, software, antivirus, software, and other relevant and necessary web security measures and computer hosting this website in order to properly protect your personal data. Only authorized personnel can access your personal data. So you have to be authorized, right? If it's only you are the only person that can authorize to read or just to access your information. So a firewall is a network security system that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based upon what? The predetermined security rules. What is a data privacy? Data privacy is the confidentiality and protection of personal information and the right to access and transfer data when desired. Now, we talk about personal data, right? Personal data is the information applicable to one specific person that identifies or clearly refers to them. Now, some organizations like your company or my company, which is OnPassive, or any other company that process data may not consider it personal if it can be applied to multiple people, right? If it can apply to multiple people, then it is not personal. But if it is applied to you, then it is personal. So such as a shared home or IP address, you have IP address version 4 and version 6. So version 6, we all know about the IP address. Version 4 is not really secured at all. But IP version 6 is secure because it has alphanumeric. And we all know that our CEO, or should I say our company, we own IP version 6. Now, it is protected personal data refers to the data handed to a controller, either given directly by the owner or given from the owner's internet traffic or general activities. We all know that we have many national and state government, they have regulations for data privacy. Now, through security, such as encryption. And what is encryption? Encryption is the process of converting information, right, or your data into coding, especially to prevent unauthorized access. Now, it is a component of privacy. Privacy includes an individual's secrecy. You know, the information that you have is secret. So we don't want anyone else to touch or to steal your information. Now, individual secrecy, right to choose where their data is stored and where their data is also transferred, and personal freedom, which is over time lack of data privacy can erode. When I talk about erode, it means wear down. Organizations often must create a privacy policy. So I believe that our own company or any company all over the globe, they have to create a policy or a statement which would details how they can use consumers' data. Privacy statements are very thorough document that will help protect the business and customers alike. It will also explain to the third parties how data may and may not be used. It is very crucial. So what are data protection laws and regulation? We do, if you guys notice within this, our company, I think if you click on, when you try to log into ecosystem, it shows something about GDPR, which means is General Data Protection Regulation. I believe we have it here within us and all over the globe. Now, it's introduced in the European in 2018. It is the best example thus for a legal structure applied to data protection, though it isn't perfect, but the GDPR lays down thorough data privacy law that binds all businesses that have the European customers. This includes any companies in the USA, in the US and elsewhere with customers that lives in the European Union, which is most large companies under GDPR. Businesses must explain how they use data and be open in providing data to its owner. This typically means creating a privacy statement that is available for all users. Individuals have the right to erasure, which can mean deleting their data from the database or fixing or deleting inaccurate data. Individuals have the right to portably, when I talk about portability, means moving or transferring data that was provided to a controller. In the US, California Consumer Privacy Act that went into effect in 2020 has requirements similar to GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation. Now we do have HIPAA. HIPAA is a Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. It protects medical wellness data to healthcare and patients. We do have PCI DSS. When I talk about PCI, it's a payment card industry data security standard. It requires all businesses to employ adequate encryption and security measures when processing the card payment. Remember, all of us, we are utilizing card payment, right? It has to be very secured. We are using our credit card, we are using our debit card, and some other people are using Bitcoins. But myself, I'm using my credit card. So it has to be very secured within all the banking system in United States. And though the law does not ensure perfect data protection, but they attempt to provide privacy for consumers like you and I through stringent regulations. Regardless, data breaches occur regularly. Millions of customers' data they are being compromised on a monthly basis. Companies such as Microsoft and Walgreens saw data breaches in the earlier 20th month of the 2020. Data privacy and advanced technology. intelligence devices in individuals' home, your home and my home. Homes further complicate data privacy, right? Then we talk about global computing is the simplest technology within our smartphones and devices that smoothly collect data and learns from it. Now, this help devices learn more about users and suggest things like appropriate songs, restaurants, and fitness techniques for them. But it also means that devices are gathering ever more data about their users. You have webcams, right? That it gathers physical data and microphones that listen to conversation cause reasonable concern about privacy. Next, we have facial recognition, which is another concern. It can assist in locating criminals, but it can also fail to accurately identify people. Facial recognition technology is advancing significantly, but it has little legal regulation thus far. Some regulations have been suggested for mass surveillance, as it limits personal privacy and secrecy, and it can be misused in the process of identifying criminals. Next, we have password security, which we all know. A lot of us, our brand ambassadors, migrating to the ecosystem, I noticed that some of us, our private, the password is too short. You guys need to increase your password security. I beg you. You need to increase it. So why is password security very important? The first reason why password security is important is because the users do have rights to do something, right? Think about it for a minute. The users wouldn't even have accounts if they didn't need access to something, to do something, right? So whatever resources the users have access to, it needs to be protected. Select password that will be difficult. Why? For the attackers to guess and use different passwords for different programs and devices. It is best to use long, strong passphrases or password that consists of at least, should I say, less than 16 characters, right? Actually, I have 14 characters. Just like logging into all founders, first you insert your email address, right? And the password. All founders will provide you an access code then to your email. Then you go back and insert that code before you can have access into your back office. That was when, you guys remember we had all founders and then we had to go to all founders. That time, a lot of our brand ambassadors, they were really, really angry. They did not like the OTP code. They did not like those six digits. Then our CEO stopped it because people were complaining. And now we have migrated to the ecosystem, which you still, despite the fact that you don't need the code, you only need the code if you migrate to the ecosystem incorrectly, right? You will have what? You will have, if you migrate to the ecosystem incorrectly, on your right hand, let me say, you click on the avatar or your name, and then you see that delete button. When you see that delete button in the ecosystem, it means that you did not migrate correctly. So you will click on that delete button, right? When you click on the delete button, OnPassword will ask you if you really want to delete it. You say yes. Now, before deleting it, you know that your email has to be ready, correct? So that they will send you what? That 6-digit code again to know that it is really you in order to delete. So it is very crucial for us to be careful and to know that we have to delete if you did not create your, if you do not migrate correctly to the ecosystem. Next, what is a password policy? As I stated from the beginning, most of the companies, not only on passive, but companies all over the globe, they need to have a password policy. A password policy is a set of rules intended to improve computer security by helping what? The users like you and I, to create and implement stronger passwords. Now, a part of organization official rules, it's often intended in the security awareness training. A password policy allows you to set a definite tone for how people create and use password on your web application. While you may not be able to control users' activities 100%, it enables you to guide them for their own safety. Now, so why is password policy very important? As you and I know, cybersecurity is a buzzword in information technology. And it's because cyber crimes, as Dr. Derry was talking about, cyber crimes are increasing day by day. They're increasing. Passwords are essential in cybersecurity as they determine to a large extent whether an attacker can break into a system or not. So having an effective password policy to guide your network, it is the key within on-passive. There are significant benefits to have a well-designed password policy. One is to prevent data breaches, safeguard your business data and customers' details. It's more important than anything else. Your failure to do so makes your network vulnerable to data breaches. Now, with just a tiny loophole, attackers can initiate a data breach that will leave you professionally, financially, and legally exhausted. The next is to maintain order. Now, a password policy, right, is meant for everyone using your network, regardless of their status. The top-down hierarchy in most organizations doesn't come to play here. And that creates a sense of orderliness. External users of your network are also obliged to follow your policy. That is why it is very important of everyone, every organization, especially our company, to write our own policy. And when they write the policy, you and I, we have to follow the rules and regulations. Now, they drop whatever preconceived notion they have about password usage and adopt your policy. The next is to build your trust, right? Now, many online users are fearful of entering their personal information on the website due to fear of cyber attacks. So they get a sense of relief when they see a password policy on the website. It shows that the owner of the website takes cybersecurity seriously. Password recommendation: as a network owner or an administrator, you have a role to play in creative of cybersecurity awareness by guiding your users on how to create and use passwords safely. An attack on your user is an attack on your network. So you will also be protecting your interests by doing that which is needed. Now, we do have recommendation from Microsoft. I know a lot of us, all of us who are utilizing Microsoft, as an admin of an organization, you are responsible for setting the password policy for users in your organization, in our own company, right? Setting the password policy can be complicated and confusing. And so we do have a recommendation for that. Password guidance for your users. Here are some password guidance for users in your company. Make sure to let your users know about the recommendation and enforce the recommended password policy at the organization level. Don't use a password that is the same or similar to you as any other website. Don't use a single word. For an example, commonly used phrase like, I love you. Don't use that as a password, please. Make sure password hard to guess. You have to make a password that it should be really hard for the cyber criminals to guess, right? Even though those who know a lot about you, such as the name of your birthdays, because some of our, I shouldn't say my family members, but there are some people or brand ambassadors or mommy daddies that they will use their children's date of birth as password. So that is why some of the cyber criminals, they start thinking, I say, okay, in this environment, this house, what is the name? Let's say Tinglet. Then they will start using maybe Tinglet as a password, right? Which is not really good. You have to enforce multi-factor authentication registration. Make sure your users update contacts and security information, like an alternate email address, the phone number, or device register for push notification, so they can respond to security challenges and be notified for security events. You have to update the contacts and security information to help users verify their identity if they ever forget their password, or if someone else tries to take over their account. It also provide in and out of ban notification channel in case of security events, such as login attempt or change of the password. Now, the next recommendation, this is from NIST, National Institute of Standard and Technology. The password recommendation includes this type of screening because it matches the method used by cyber criminals in modern brute force attacks. A brute force attack is a cryptographic hack that relies on guesswork, possibly combinations of the targeted password until the current password is discovered. An example of brute force attack: hackers attempt to logically guess the credential completely unassisted from software tools or other means. This can be revealed extremely simple password that is set as guess. You know, sometimes when you go to your job, right? I mean, let me say you are new to an organization, they're teaching you about password. What they do is that they'll just give you a password, guess, GUEST 1 2 3. So they will give it to you, but at the end, know that you have to change your password. That this is according to Kaspersky in 1997. Now, it also became clear that people follow very common pattern in password selection, even with a written password policy in place. As a result, cyber criminals, right? They're out there. They will use lists of common password and pattern found in previous breaches to narrow the universe of password attempted in the attack. Guessing password become easier when the actual set of password is predictable. NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology, recommendation is to screen for commonly used and compromised password to prevent people from selecting this easy to guess password. Now, and my own conclusion is this. It's clear that organizations like our company, OnPassive, of all sizes, must take steps to secure their data and system in the ever-growing threat landscape. Continuous security monitoring enables organizations to gauge their security posture in real time to identify weaknesses or potential compromises and mitigate them quickly. Our credit cards, I just want to let you all know, they are protected from hackers. And at this moment, I want to take this moment to thank our Mr. Ash Mufare. We thank you and I. We want to take this moment to thank our CEO. Why? Because he is a self-sacrificing man, a man who has the heart of for humanity. I want to thank our Heavenly Father for what he has done, for sending Mr. Ash Mufare to all of us. He is here to eradicate poverty. And he made a statement that either I do or I die. He is here to correct corruption, right? I want to thank each and everyone for listening, and I love you all. My name is Dr. Benny in Singlet, and I am your friend. Thank you.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Thank you very much. First Lady Queen, Dr. Benny, we appreciate. Thank you very, very much. That was awesome. And wonderful. You nailed it. Really appreciate that cybersecurity, most definitely. And right away, we see hands that are going up. And so if you have any comment or any questions that you specifically want to ask Queen Dr. Benny about cybersecurity, you can raise your hand. Any comments, any questions, or any discussion that you want to raise. So go ahead, Mamadou.
Yes, Dr. Derrick. Oh my goodness. Dr. Benny. Dr. Benny, you did it. And you nail it again. Yes.
Thank you.
Everything about our security has been highlighted by you. You know, I hope my brand ambassadors will really pay attention, because this is the common mistakes we always do. Some people, they think when they say password, it's nothing. In fact, some of them don't even know what password means, because the way some of them create their password is like nothing to them. They don't know that password is the key to everything about yourself, everything about your information, about your personal life. Because when you create anything, you create an account, that account bears your personal information, And the only thing that will protect those information are your password. But some of them, they will create some password. Oh my goodness, I wish they can hear this. I wish they can pay attention or they have access to this information. You know, it's sad. But thank you, Dr. Benny, and I hope you continue to remind us so that to continue to safeguard ourselves. Let's take our passwords very, very important. Let's take them as very important. So thank you very much, and I'm just appealing to everybody that is using internet to make sure they always protect their information, their data, because data is money, and money draws all sorts of malpractices and fraudsters. Thank you very much, Dr. Derry, for allowing me to say something.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Mamadou. Really appreciate it. But you can just point the persons that you know, just point them to my YouTube channel. And of course, the information is right there already, or Dr. Patient's YouTube channel or so on. So the information is there available for persons to
okay,
access.
On the YouTube, it's streamed.
Yes, it's already there. Just
okay, good.
Click on live. Right? When you go to my YouTube channel, just click on live and you're good to go.
Oh, good.
Right?
Deep dive.
Yes. Deep dive YT. All right. Beautiful. All right. Any other hands? Any other comments?
Thank you, brother Mumudu. I really appreciate you. As we all know that it's really important. You guys heard the recommendation from Microsoft and NIS, as well as I would say my own recommendation is this: every 90 days, I would like each and everyone to please change your password. I know that people don't change their password at all.
No.
But guess what? Time is coming now. Remember, we have started receiving the dollars, right?
Yep.
Please be very, very vigilant. Please do not give your password to anybody. I beg you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, First Lady Queen Dr. Benny, and of course, King Mamadou for your comment. Go ahead, Queen Jacqueline Warner.
Hi, good evening, good evening. Dr. Benny, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You nailed it. You nailed it. You was amazing. I mean, thank you so much for helping us to be more alert when it comes to securing our information, because when you lose everything with these hackers, and this is their career. You know, it's their career. So they wait for slip-ups. They wait for us to make an error, and then they come right on in. So like Dr. Benny stated, make the password difficult. It's just like when you're in your home, you know, you put up a lot of security system, even though they can probably get in anyway, you make it difficult. So that's what we're doing with our password. We're making it difficult for them to sabotage us or steal our identity or steal anything from us. So thank you so much, Dr. Benny, for just bringing it week after week. We appreciate you so much. We love you, and have a beautiful evening. Thank you, Dr. Derrick, also for the platform.
Thank you. Thank you, Queen Jacqueline. Sorry, I'm sorry, Dr.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I just want to thank Queen Jacqueline for your acknowledgement and support. We all know security is not only crucial within our organization, but it is crucial all over the globe. We have to, the criminals are out there. They are waiting. With this easy password that all of us, we have people who don't want to even listen. They don't. But I would say the ball is in your court, and that's why Dr. Derek wants me to continue to present. I just want to put it in here. You got to listen. You guys are going to be making dollars, millions of dollars. It's coming. This is the beginning. Now, if you don't know how to change your password, please call me. We are going to work together. I beg you. Thank you. Yes, please.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Maybe you can do that as a presentation also, so that it's on record. You know, the practical way of dealing with your passwords, without changing it, physically showing us, you know, how that is done. All right, wonderful. Go ahead, Josephine Jung. Josephine Jung. Nugent. Nugent. Or Jeng. Josephine Jung. You have your hand up. Hello, Josephine. All right.
Doctor.
Yes, go ahead.
Dr. Derek, is it Joseph you're talking or Josephine?
Well, the name that you have is Josephine. Oh, you need to put your name properly then.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Derek, and thank you, Dr. Benny. Thank you for that presentation. I have a question, and my question is it safe for us to save our passwords on our laptops or on our phones? Because when you create a password, it always requests whether you want to save it. If we save it, is it easily accessible by the hackers?
Yes, based upon me, I don't think it is good to save. I noticed I have one mama that I try to help her, but I noticed that she keeps saving her password. When you save it like that, the hackers are there. So how about if the hackers, they know your email or your email address? They will log in to steal your information. I don't think, to me, it is not safe.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Anytime, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you for the question.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, King Joseph. Just correct your name there because it has a lot. Maybe it's two names, but you need to separate them. All right, thank you very much, King Joseph, for that wonderful comment and question. And thank you very much, First Lady Queen, Dr. Benny. Okay, Queen Dr. Patience. Queen Dr. Patience. All right, moving right along. All right, go ahead, King Kumaran.
Thank you, Dr. Derek.
All right.
Yes, Dr. Derek, I was holding my subject.
All right.
Dr. Derek, can I help you? Is it after party time?
No. I saw you had up your hand. I thought you had up your hand. Okay, that's all right.
Can I continue?
So go ahead, Kumaran.
Okay. Dr. Derek, we are using O Connect, so I just noticed. I just want a clarification from the O Connect just now. See, when Dr. Benny doing the presentation, I saw there's a download option for the file. Okay, so and when there's a two option, one is we can download the slide he's sharing, and there's another option we can download the whole everything, the whole file. So since we are still learning on the O Connect, so I just download it. So the whole file of Dr. Benny sharing is been downloaded to my phone. So is this normal, or we as a presenter we should have security to protect our files that we are presenting? So is it still in the earlier stage? I just want a clarification, Dr. Derek.
No, that is how it is supposed to be done. You are supposed to be able to download, and that was why Ashmafar was saying, and everybody was yay, that if you are maybe working with a lawyer and you need documents, or you might be working with you might be in a business meeting, and everyone is in that business conference meeting, and you might be in Trinidad and Tobago, the next person is in Guatemala, the next person is in wherever, right? And right there on the webinar, you are able to share files, sign, share back file, sign, right there on the webinar. Everything can be done right there on the webinar. So yes, that is a feature. What you can do, right, is you can actually, when you're doing your PowerPoint, you can actually one, put your PowerPoint in a either read only mode. So even if a person download it, they can't change any content in it. One. Two, you can, I think there's a feature in PowerPoint that you can actually block it. So you might look at those features. Basically, Hyacinth, if you could just mute your phone, please. If you could just mute Hyacinth. Right, so you can set up those features in PowerPoint.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, just mute. You can set up those features so that you can prevent people from downloading your content. But yes, it is a normal feature for OConnect, for documents to be downloadable.
Thank you, Dr. Derek. That's wonderful clarification. And Dr. Benny, you nailed it again. Fantastic presentation again. Thank you.
All right.
Dr. Derek?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, one more thing. You guys remember, I said it before, that with O Connect, everybody who is on O Connect is a real person. So you know who is there. So when that person downloads, there's no problem because you know who is working with you. You know who is on O Connect with you. So it's real people. That is why you can only go there with your real information. So because it's like he thought it's wrong to be able to download. Those who are joining should be real people.
Yes, that is correct.
Information, there's no problem because you know that you are with them.
Right, and everyone is trackable also. Right, so don't need to worry. As I said, you can prevent, especially with PowerPoint. Maybe you want it to be tailor-made to you and only you, this particular presentation. So you can actually put it in a read only. And so even if a person download it, then they are not able to edit it. So, might not be much use for that person, because they won't be able to edit it to put in their own little swing to it. But as far as I'm concerned, on passive, everyone share. It's not really a big deal for me personally. All right, wonderful. All right, thank you very much. And let me see, Patrice, I think you had your hand up. Queen Patrice. 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 Okay, I guess you're not here at this time. Okay, wonderful. All right, I just want to ask one question. Well, before I ask a question, let me first thank all the YouTube persons, all the persons on YouTube viewing live at this time. We just want to thank you for coming out and being here. And of course, if you were here from the beginning, you heard our lovely Queen, Dr. Tunishai Ford, with the mindset, because in life, the mindset is very, very, very important. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the YouTube channels that you are presently on. And I will see you on Thursday, where we deep dive once again. And on Sunday, where we dream with the dream team. And so we have many other webinars, left, right, and center. But for those of us who are physically on OConnect, and you know, we are on a totally different platform, you might not notice, or you might notice the difference on YouTube. But yes, if you are on YouTube and you are viewing this content and you are not a user already of these wonderful solutions, please get with the person who invited you to see this webinar, and just ask them to allow you to get the registration from them, so that you can actually physically join us on OConnect. OConnect is the platform that we are on. It's the only 4K, webinar platform, right? It is the only 4K webinar platform, and so we are asking you to get back with the person who maybe send you the link or invite you, and you know, take a look, take a serious, close look on this awesome webinar platform that actually allows you right out of the box. Hey, 10,000 participants. Yes, I said it right. And it's less than $200 for 10,000 participants. Awesome.